Hello, word nerds. Welcome to a wonderful episode of the dictionary. This hair is really getting poofy. Gonna have to get a haircut soon. Hey, this episode is going to be explicit because that is one of the words. So, I'd like to give you that little bit of warning ahead of time. We might have some fun with the sound effect today. I gave myself a little chuckle before I hit the record button with that idea. So, hey, let's fucking do it. All right, the first word is explain away. 2 words. This is a transitive verb from 1704. Number 1, to get rid of by or as if by explanation. What are you getting rid of? You explain away. I wish I could come up with a good example. I'm just, it's just whatever. Like I give you an explanation and it's just like, it's not important anymore. We're done with it. I've explained it away. We can move on to the next one, the next subject, the next topic. Number 2 for explain away is to minimize the significance of by or as if by explanation. We have an example here. Explains his faults, but does not try to explain them away. And that is a quote from M.K. Spears. He explains his fault, but he doesn't try to explain them away. We're using this in the opposite way, the opposite definition. To minimize the significance of by explanation. So in this example, M.K. Spears is saying that he is not minimizing his faults. Maybe he's maximizing his faults. To minimize the significance. Let's see. I have many faults, and I will not explain them away, I guess. I will maximize them. I will talk about them. I will try to use them as a strength instead of a weakness. My bad memory, that's one. Explain away. Okay, now it is time for a sound effect, and I'm just gonna go, fuck. The next word is explanation. This is a noun from the 14th century. Number 1, the act or process of explaining. So many explanations have happened in this podcast. 2, something that explains, as in, gave no explanation. I think it's weird when they put in an example. We've seen 2 already in this episode. That's the opposite. They used the word in an opposite way. Gave no explanation. They gave nothing that explains. He explains his faults, but does not try to explain them away. You can still sort of figure out what it means from that with the definition and everything. It's a correct way to use it, but I feel like it would be more helpful maybe if you didn't put that negative word in there, the no, the not, whatever. So yeah, that's an explanation. The next word, fuck. It's the word explanative. Explanative, adjective from circa 1616. The synonym is explanatory, which is coming up. And explanatively, that is an adverb. So I guess we don't really use explanative anymore. Instead, we use fuck. I'm just going to have some fun with this one. The next word is explanatory. Adjective from 1618. Explanative was 1616, just 2 years between them. Explanatory is serving to explain, as in explanatory notes. Those notes are so helpful, those cliff notes. They're doing a good job explaining what Romeo and Juliet is all about. Explanatorily, that is an adverb. Explanatorily. You did that so explanatorily when you described what other ways that you can use these words. Okay, That's it for explanatory. Fuck! The next word is explant. Explant. It's like, oh, you're not a plant anymore. You're now a human. You're an explant. You turned from a plant to a human. How'd you do that? You're an explant. This is the first form. It is a transitive verb from 1915. To remove, especially to a medium for tissue culture. And the thing that you are removing would be living tissue. So what are you doing with this living tissue? You're removing it from a medium for tissue culture. A medium could be a human body. If maybe you have a growth on your skin and they need to check it, they need to do a tissue culture on it, they would be explanting it. It's been planted on your skin, but they need to remove it, so they're explanting it. Explantation, that is a noun. There's probably a lot of places in the American South that are explantations. They used to be plantations, but now they're explantations. This word is from ex plus plant, like implant. So when you're implanting a thing, you're putting it in. If you don't have an eyeball, your eyeball got removed. They need to put in a new eyeball, a bionic eyeball maybe, nah, that didn't work. They're implanting a thing, implanting a pacemaker, implanting whatever. I don't know what else they implant in your body, but this is the opposite, explant, removing it from where it was planted. So it's the plant suffix that they're using here, and I'm very curious now to read what that says. What is the plant suffix? Never thought about that. Fuckity fuck. The next word is the second form of explant, which it looks like you emphasize the first syllable, explant. The first form, we emphasize the second syllable. So explant is a noun from 1917. This is the noun. Is living tissue removed from an organism and placed in a medium for tissue culture. So of course you explant the explant. Oh, look at this. Look at this explant. Ooh, it's so gooey and green. That's not supposed to be like that. Let's put it in the thing to culture the tissue to see what it is. What is this alien substance that we removed from your body? Have I ever had? I think I had like a mole or something that they removed from my back. I'm trying to think if I've had anything else explanted. I've probably explanted like stuff, skin, like hangnails or something. I've explanted those myself. Fuck. The next word is expletive. I just said an expletive. This is the first form noun from 1612. 1A is very long. Whoa. This is a syllable, word, or phrase inserted to fill a vacancy, as in a sentence or a metrical line, without adding to the sense. Especially, a word, and there's an example of that, a word that occupies the position of the subject or object of a verb in normal English word order and anticipates a subsequent word or phrase that supplies the needed meaningful content. Okay, we're going to have to break this down a second because I don't know what I just said. So the example of this word would be the word it in the phrase, make it clear which you prefer. Which one of these things do you prefer? Choose it and make it. That's the thing. That's the word that we're talking about. Make it clear. So how can we make this clear? Okay, so that especially definition is a word. So now you can think of that phrase, make it clear which you prefer. The word it is the expletive. It's a word that occupies the position of the subject or object of a verb in normal English word order and anticipates a subsequent word or phrase that supplies the needed, meaningful content. I don't know if I could describe it any better than that. It's replacing the thing. So we're talking about this banana. Of course, I love to use my bananas as an example because I eat a lot of bananas. Just one a day, not every day, just some days. I don't eat more than one banana. Anyway, that's not the point. This is the subject of what we're talking about, this banana with the weird plastic stuff on the top. So we are now, if I put that banana away, and I now it still exists. It still exists. So we are replacing the word banana with it. We know what we're talking about. It's the subject of our conversation, or the object. Guess either one. The banana would be the subject, and anyway, that's not the point. So that is an expletive. The word it in that context is an expletive. It is a syllable, word, or phrase inserted to fill a vacancy without adding to the sense. So that's what it is. Very long description of that thing, because there was a lot of specific stuff that they had to get in there. Okay, didn't realize that could be called an expletive. We have 1B. This is an exclamatory word or phrase, especially one that is obscene or profane. Like, fuck that shit. Number 2. One that serves to fill out or as a filling. What is, so like donut jelly? Could that be an expletive? One that serves to fill out or as a filling. I don't know what they're talking about, but I would like to think that the cream in a donut or the jelly in a donut or anything else that you put in a donut can be called an expletive. I think so. I think that works. Okay, well, there was no etymology for that one because it's in the next one, so now I gotta go, fuck! I hope that you enjoy this nonsense of bad words, and I should probably get some more bad words in here because this episode is explicit. Let's take advantage of that. The second form of expletive is an adjective from 1666. Number 1, serving to fill up, as in expletive phrases. So no donuts here. These are phrases that fill up. How do they fill up? They serve to fill up. So you're adding more phrases just to fill the time, fill the space. I think Charles Dickens got paid by the word when he was writing for some publication or magazine or blog, and so he must have used a lot of expletive words and phrases just to fill it up and get paid more. Number 2 is marked by the use of expletives. If there's a lot of expletives, then that thing would be expletive. I feel like my mouth has a hard time saying this word. So this is from the Latin word expletus, which is from the verb explere, which means to fill out. That's what it is. It's just, hey, let's just put stuff in just to fill it up. Which is from ex plus plere, which means to fill. So you put the X at the front, and it becomes to fill out. Are those really that different? If you fill a bathtub of water, you are also filling it out. I don't know how that's different exactly. There's more at the word full. So yeah, I wonder. Yeah. To fill out. So yeah, expletive, that's just what it is. It's a word or a phrase or something used to expand, to fill a thing out, or just replace maybe. Seems like replacing is fine too. That is it for expletive. Fuck. The next word. This next shitty word is expletory. Adjective from 1672. The synonym is expletive. So it would be that second form of expletive. Another way to say it is expletory. Fuck! That one shocked me. Okay, the next word is explicable. Explicable, you can emphasize the first syllable, explicable. Adjective from 1556, capable of being explained. And of course, we had explain in the previous episode. Capable of being explained is explicable, and explicably, that is an adverb. I love things that I can explain. Oh, it's explicable. Explicably. Blah, 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 blah. Ah, shit. Fuck. The next word is explicate. Explicate. This is a verb, a transitive verb from 1531. Number 1, to give a detailed explanation of, not just a regular explanation, a detailed explanation. You have, if you are explicating how to run and jog. I'm not going to explicate how to run and jog right now, but I could. Lots of details can go into that. The short explanation is move your feet fast. So number 2 for explicate is to develop the implications of and also analyze logically. I like to analyze things logically. What am I going to say? I don't know. I want to analyze. I like to do things logically, to think about things logically. Logically, it doesn't really make, we do a lot of things that are not logical, and I like to think about that sometimes. A synonym is the word explain. That's it. Explication is a noun, and explicator is also a noun. That is the comic book villain that just explains everything to you, and they make you so bored. They are the explicator. That would definitely, put me to sleep. Okay, fine, you win. Okay, what do we got next? Do we have any additional etymology? Yes, we have. It's from the Latin verb explicare, which literally means to unfold. Just this morning, the episode with Natalia Reagan about evolution aired, and there was something in there. There was some etymology of something unfolding. Was it like evolution? I think so. It's interesting that we have it here again, to unfold. So explicare is from the ex prefix plus plicare, which means to fold. And there's more at the word ply. So like you've got 2-ply, 3-ply toilet paper, it's been folded, and then you then have to unfold it. You have to explain, let me reveal all of the layers in this cinnamon roll. Let's explain the cinnamon roll. Is the cinnamon roll explicable? I'm going to explicate the cinnamon roll. I'm going to unfold all of its juicy goodness and magic. Fuck. The next word is this is a funky pronunciation. Explication. Oh, it's French. Yeah, I should have looked at the etymology. Explication de texte. So it is 3 words. The first word literally just looks like explanation, right? Explication, not explanation. Explication, but it is explication. And the second word is de, and the third word is text, texte. Text. Just double checking my pronunciation. Explication de texte. This is a noun from 1935, and this is a method of literary criticism involving a detailed analysis of a work. And I think it's pretty clear that the word text is the stand-in word for work. It's just a piece of text, a piece of work, a piece of writing. This is French, of course, and it literally means explanation of text. It's right there. The word de means of, explanation of text is explicación de texte. It's a method of literary criticism. So you're really digging in to what the person wrote, what the person said. What did they mean by this? Why did they use these words? I don't know. I've never done an explicación de texte, so I don't know all the things that you got to put in there. But it's a type of literary analysis. Okay, what's another way to say the word fuck? Fuck. The next word is explicative or explicative. This is an adjective from 1649, serving to explicate, but specifically serving to explain logically what is contained in the subject, as in an explicative proposition. Serving to explicate. This is the thing it's all about explaining. Serving to explain logically what is contained in the subject. An explicative proposition. So this proposition is explaining stuff. I don't know what this proposition is. Explicatively, how do you pronounce this word? Explicatively? It's probably that. That's an adverb. Next. Fuck. The next word is explicatory or explicatory. This is an adjective from 1625, and the synonym is just explicative or explicative. It's the same word. I don't feel like I'm doing a very good job at being explicative in this episode. Maybe it's not necessary. I don't have to explain everything. I just wish that I could come up with really good examples, other ways to say things in the moment. And that's hard to do for my brain. Sometimes it's okay, and a lot of times it's not. But we now have to get to our big word, which is it's the word explicit. explicit. This is an adjective from 1607. We have a few definitions, and then we have synonym information. And yes, I said, of course, this episode is being tagged as explicit. It's an adjective from 1607. I think I already said that. Number 1A, fully revealed or expressed without vagueness, implication, or ambiguity. Also, leaving no question as to meaning or intent, as in explicit instructions. This is what I need. I have said this to people, especially my wife and people I've worked with. I said, I need explicit information, detailed information. Implicit, which would be the opposite, is not helpful for me. I need things spelled out in very clear words, because that's just how my brain works. I interpret things differently, and so if it's implicit, I might interpret it the wrong way, and I have. Many times I've done the wrong thing, because that was not what was meant by this. I'm so sorry if I messed it up. You didn't give me explicit instructions, so it's your fault. Haha. Okay, 1B. This is open in the depiction of nudity or sexuality, as in explicit books and films. I guess there's a difference here. You know, one of them is very clear, like clear instructions. There's no vagueness. There's no ambiguity. And then how did it become something related to nudity, sexuality? I mean, I guess it's literally just it's out there. We're being very obvious and clear. I don't know. There's a little bit of a disconnect for me, but that's what it became. That's what it became. Explicit books and films. Oh, maybe they're rated R. Maybe they're rated NC-17. because people are talking about sexy things. Number 2, fully developed or formulated, as in an explicit plan. It's good when you have an explicit plan. If you're trying to plan something, you probably want it to be fully developed or formulated. Don't half-ass your plan. If you're going to rob a bank, you need an explicit plan. The Joker in The Dark Knight had an explicit plan. It worked perfectly. He had every step of the way planned out. He knew exactly what was going to happen, and he did it. Also is in an explicit notion of our objective. An explicit notion of our objective. Our notion is fully developed. 3, unambiguous in expression, as in, was very explicit on how we were to behave. That one seems pretty similar to 1A, doesn't it? Fully revealed or expressed without vagueness, implication, or ambiguity, leaving no question as to meaning or intent. Was very explicit on how we are to behave. You were telling us, we didn't want to hear it, and we're not going to listen, but you were very explicit in your instructions of how we should behave. Don't put your elbows on the table. Don't slouch with 2 things that I'm doing right now. How slouchy can he get? You told me explicitly not to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I will behave how I want to behave. Number 4 is talking about a mathematical function, and this is defined by an expression containing only independent variables. That's it, defined by an expression containing only independent variables. So an explicit function in math has only independent variables. They're explicit, they're clear, they're unwavering, they are right there in your face. It says compare to the number 1C definition for implicit. Now, I don't know if we're talking about just this number 4 definition about the mathematical function or all of the definitions. I'm confused by that because it specifically calls out 1C for implicit. Explicitly is an adverb, and explicitness is a noun. This episode has a lot of explicitness when Spencer says, fuck, shit, goddamn fuck. Now, there was nothing that mentioned any swear words in this. You know, when we tag a podcast as explicit, that is usually because of language of some kind. But it could be lots of different language. The 1B definition talked about nudity or sexuality, but I feel like that needs to be broadened. I feel like it needs to be maybe more vague. The definition maybe needs to be a little bit more implicit, less explicit with what you're talking about, because there are a lot of other things that can be considered explicit: podcasts, films, movies. There are a lot of other topics other than nudity or sexuality that you would call explicit, like a bunch of swear words, which some people don't like to hear, so they want to know when you are talking about that, or just talking about topics that are more adult, I guess. There are lots of things that people could talk about that could be considered explicit. So let's read the synonym information, because that might add some more stuff to this. Explicit, definite, express, and specific mean perfectly clear in meaning. They mean perfectly clear in meaning. Their meaning is perfectly clear. Explicit implies such verbal plainness and distinctness that there is no need for inference and no room for difficulty in understanding. Yes, this is what I like. This is what I need. I definitely need this. Again, the example is explicit instructions. Definite stresses precise, clear statement or arrangement that leaves no doubt or indecision, as in the law is definite in such cases. It is perfectly clear in its meaning. Express implies, interesting that the word implies is in here. Express implies both explicitness and direct and positive utterance, as in her express wishes. I don't ever use this. I can't. That's not a phrase that I am familiar with. She's explicit in her wishes. She's direct and positive. It's a very positive and direct wish. I wish all of the happy things for you. Specific applies to what is precisely and fully treated in detail or particular. Was that English? Specific applies to what is precisely and fully treated in detail or particular. Well, I'm confused about the way that word is being used. As in, to specific criticisms. The criticisms are precise and fully treated in detail. You're giving lots of detail in your film criticism. Two specific criticisms. Some of these examples are weird. Okay, well, hey, we fucking did it. That was not a terribly shitty episode. What other swears can I say? Because, hey, it's explicit. Why not? Even though I like to swear, it's very weird for me to use swears in this podcast because it's not... I've been doing this for over 5 years, and I don't do that. So it's like I have to force myself to use them. It's not part of my brain in this mode of thinking. What else? Don't be an asshole. That's one of my favorite phrases. Don't be an asshole. Okay, let's pick a word of the episode. Today we had explain away, explanation, explanative, explanatory, explant, expletive, expletory, explicable, explicate, explicación. I think I'm saying this right. Explicación de text, explicative, explicatory, and explicit. Ooh, I don't know. Maybe explicit, possibly. Is there anything else? I mean, I like to explain things. But yeah, let's do explicit because Spencer needs some explicit instructions. He doesn't know what to do if they're not explicit. Ooh, I should have changed it. He doesn't know what to do if they're implicit. He likes explicit things. He also likes to use explicit language like fuck. Okay. I don't have a movie to watch to tell you about. We didn't watch a movie. We're still watching Northern Exposure. We might go watch a movie tonight. Okay. Thank you very much for checking out this show. This was a funky episode. Until next time, this is Spencer dispensing this goddamn piece of shit information. Goodbye.